Well guys, here we are at the end of another year. I think over the course of this year, I've posted around 125 videos detailing, our operation, planting, managing, harvesting crops, all that good stuff. And anyway, here we are, the last day of 2021. Been busy all this December, getting our equipment washed, waxed, put away, corn hauled. We got our Christmas decorations off the combine. We got our shop cleaned up, done a bunch of end of year planning, seed ordering, just trying to make a plan going forward for 2022. But anyway, it's been a wild and crazy year. Probably the biggest story this year has been our issues with the weather. Heck, that's probably the story every year, but definitely more so this year. I mean, this is almost the first day in December that I am in long sleeve shirts. Dylan Joyce said it best to me last night in a message. He said this year we experienced December in May, and we're experiencing May in December. And I can't put it any more accurately than that. So anyway, in this video, I just kind of wanted to put a closing finish on this year, tell you just exactly how we did. I'm going to do a couple videos here kind of summing up the year. This one's going to deal on how our crops actually fared. I mean, you already know that we had some good crops, we had some great crops, and we had some pretty poor crops, but what were the actual final numbers for this year? So I'm going to go into detail in this video and tell you exactly how all our crops did with the final numbers. All right, guys, we're going to get down in the weeds, get down to the nitty gritty of what we actually made this year. Something or at least something I haven't seen on any other agricultural channel. Like I said, our channel is all about education. So along with education comes a lot of facts I'm going to present you. So these are the yields that we made this year. We'll start out with a couple crops that I've covered extensively, and you probably got a pretty good idea. So I'll run through them pretty quick. But our 2021 wheat crop was phenomenal. It was absolutely outstanding. It was the best wheat crop that we had ever had. Anyway, we produced 46,836 bushels of wheat off of 469 acres. Gives us a final average of a little over 99 bushels an acre. Almost at that triple digit mark. Just unbelievable. Our second best year in wheat was back in 2016. We had a 91 bushel per acre average. So we blew our previous record out of the water by a lot. We had an abnormally good year for wheat. In fact, the weather that we had that hurt our cotton crop getting established was really what made our wheat crop. That cool weather that we had in May, that's really what put the top end on the wheat yield. So anyway, it was phenomenal. I don't expect that again next year, but hey, if it happens, I'm not going to turn it down. Anyway, from there we go to corn. And on corn, we had a really good year, especially considering a lot of the circumstances. We had over 20% of our corn crop planted late to very marginal ground, something that I wouldn't expect to yield that good in a good year, and then throw in the fact that it was planted late the first time, and then we had to turn around and replant it. And still with those two farms, which surprised me in yield, we wound up having the third best corn crop that we've ever made. Anyway, we produced 81,406 bushels. That's off a little bit of what I told you in a previous video. a lot of our corn went into the bins at high moisture. We had to dry it down. We lost a few thousand bushels of moisture by drying it down. And then because we had so much corn, our bins were full, and we didn't have quite enough time to dry down the very tip-top layer in a couple of those bins. So we got hit with a moisture dock on a few thousand bushels, and we wound up losing almost 1,000 bushels to dock because the moisture was too high, just because they hadn't had enough time to dry down all the way. That very top layer in the bin is the most difficult one to get dried down. So anyway, we weighed in a little over 84,000 bushels, I believe, out of the field. And then we wound up actually delivering, after the docking and everything, we wound up delivering 81,406 bushels off of 466 acres. Gives us an average yield of 175 bushels per acre. So for the year, that was just phenomenal, outstanding. We had yields ranging anywhere from 155 or 156 bushels an acre all the way up to 205 bushels an acre, and everywhere in between. Those last two farms on that marginal hill ground we planted laden and replanted, they really surprised me. One farm did 156 bushels an acre, and the second farm did 165 bushels an acre. Anyway, if you take those two farms out, I don't know what our yield was, but our yield would probably been over 180 bushels an acre easily if you taken those two farms out. So anyway, I said this year was our third best year on corn. Our best year ever on corn was in 2019 when we had a phenomenal growing year for corn that year. Everything went picture perfect. We averaged 194 bushels an acre in 2019, and then in 2014 was an exceptional year on all grain. We averaged 188 bushels an acre that year. So corn was third best overall. Really pleased. We wound up with an average price of $5.23 a bushel on corn, which was improved over 2020 when we had an average price of, I think, $4.01 a bushel. So the price definitely went up. I forgot to mention in the wheat, we came in with an average price of $5.87 a bushel for our wheat crop, as opposed to 2020 when we had, I think it was $5.76 a bushel for our wheat crop. Now our wheat crop next year, really expecting big price. Don't know what the yield's going to be, but I've already got a big part of my wheat crop booked. A lot of it booked for over $6. Heck, I've even got some booked for over $8. So we should. The profit potential is there for wheat next year. Corn, I haven't booked any corn for next year just because I think that there's a lot of upside in the corn market, because due to fertilizer prices, I think corn acres in the U.S. are going to go down quite a bit. And I think that's really going to drive the price of corn up. So I've not contracted any for next year, but I'm watching the market closely. And I'll cover my plans for next year in a future video here in a few weeks. Next up, we have full season soybeans. The soybean crop didn't do quite what I thought it would. I thought it was going to be an excellent soybean crop, and instead it was just a very good soybean crop. I'm not disappointed or anything. I just thought that there was a few more bushels out there than what there was. As it is, this year's full season soybean crop was the fourth best crop that we've ever had. We produced 13,097 bushels off of 207 acres for a final average of 63 bushels per acre. Now that yield would be higher, but we had two farms that we planted really late. The Todd farm, that was a farm that I wasn't supposed to be working this year, but then I called them late in the game when nothing had been done to it. Asked them if they wanted me to put another crop on it. They said go ahead. So that farm was planted late. We had a 58 bushel per acre average on that farm. And then the Windy City farm, where we had to terminate roughly half the farm from cotton, where it's planted to cotton, and go back with soybeans. Those were the last soybeans we planted all year long, and we had an average yield of 61 bushels an acre on that farm. So that brought the average yield down 2 or 3 bushels from what I would consider my planned full season soybean crop. But still, 63 bushel an acre average. Very, very good on full season beans. Our previous record year was 2014. We had a 74 bushel per acre average. In 2019, another great year, we had a 72 bushel per acre average. And then in 2018, we had a 66 bushel per acre average. So 2021 comes in at fourth place. Very good. Definitely nothing to complain about. And then on to the elephant in the ring, cotton. Told y'all all year long I was down on cotton. I really wasn't expecting much to it. In fact, I can't remember if I said this on video, but I told my cotton scout end of July, first part of August, I said, if someone will come buy my cotton crop right now and give me 800 pounds an acre, I'd sell it in a heartbeat. And well, if someone had done that, I would have come out on the better end. I said in one of our videos that this year was the worst cotton crop in 14 years. That wasn't quite true. It was almost true, but not quite true. The previous worst crop that we'd had was in 2007 when we had a record drought, like the worst drought in 50-something years, and we had an average yield of 471 pounds an acre, which was almost a bale an acre, and I thought this year's crop was the worst one since then. But looking back through my records, in 2011, we had a 767 pound average. Now, I don't remember much about 2011. I'd have to go back and look through my notes to see what exactly happened that year. But this year, we produced 352,906 pounds off of 455 acres, which gave us an average yield of 776 pounds an acre. So it beat 2011 by 9 pounds an acre. But if someone had given me that 800 pounds an acre, I said in August, I would have come out ahead. So the cotton crop really did about what I thought it was going to do. I knew it was not going to be good at all. We had some pretty wild swings on between farm to farm. The McClary, the Ed Smith farm, it came in at right at 1,000 pounds an acre. It was by far the best cotton that we had. And then our worst cotton was, can't remember what video it was, but I think the title was Now I Think We Found Our Worst Cotton or something like that. But anyway, that other farm, it averaged, where's it at? It averaged 486 pounds an acre, so right at a bale an acre. And then we had everything in between. We had some in the 800s, we had some in the 600s, we had some in the 700s. So not a good year for cotton at all. It was just hammered from the get-go, cold, wet weather, slugs, and then we didn't have a hot enough temperature to really catch up on DD60s. We did have a pretty late fall, which gave it an extended growing season, which helped some. We had those storms that come in July 31st that knocked a bunch of fruit off right here in this area. There's quite a few other farmers around me that farm in counties farther off, say, Haywood County or north in Gibson County or whatever, or south in Henderson County. And they had some really good yields down there. They were easily making, between 1,000 and 1,200 pounds an acre. But those strongest storms from that July 31st event literally came through right in this area. You can look at the map of the radar, and we were dealing with 70 plus mile an hour winds, and it really stressed the cotton crop and caused the cotton crop to chunk off a lot of first and second position fruiting positions right there in the middle of the plant, which that was the final nail in the coffin on the cotton crop. But what did surprise me on the cotton crop was the grades that we got. Our cotton was not mature when we defoliated, and I was really expecting our grades to be, or the quality of the crop, the quality of the fiber, I was really expecting that to be really hurt. We wound up getting some of the best grades we've ever gotten on the majority of my crop. I was getting anywhere from a 4 to 5 cent per pound premium, whereas normally I would expect between a 2 and 4 cent per pound premium. So that helped out on the bottom line, and that really shocked me. But I was at least there was one thing I was pleasantly surprised about the cotton crop. I don't really know what our average price is going to be because I market all of my cotton with Staple Cotton. It's a marketing cooperative, and they pay you in advance in the fall, and then they pay out the balance of it in 4 more payments the following year. We'll get another cotton payment in January, another one in March, May, and then the final payment for our 2021 crop will come in September of 2022. So I don't know yet what our final average price will be. As of right now, with seed payment, with premium on the grade, in the advance, we're looking at about 81 cents per pound on cotton is what we've made so far, as opposed to last year. I think our final average price was somewhere around 79 or 80 cents per pound. So our final price this year hopefully is up there between 90 cents and $1 per pound. So price on cotton looking really good. And now on to the final crop, our double crop soybeans. How about I show you instead? They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, how about a video? I'd say we had a pretty dang good bean crop. A real bin buster for sure. Our double crop soybeans gave our wheat crop a run for the money on just blowing everything out of the water. It was absolutely fantastic, and it was far and away the best double crop soybean crop we've ever had. And if you're just now starting to watch our videos, you don't know what I'm talking about. When I talk about double crop soybeans, is the soybeans we plant behind the wheat after the wheat is harvested. You know, we've got 2 crops off 1 piece of ground in the same year. So that's what we're talking about when we're differentiating between full season soybeans, which is a soybean crop that's planted in the spring, and that's the only crop we grow on that ground all year long, as opposed to a double crop soybean crop, which is planted behind winter wheat in June after the wheat crop is harvested, and we get 2 crops per year. And because double crop soybeans are planted later, you know, our yield expectations are usually much, much lower than what our full season soybeans are, just because there's not as much of a growing season for the soybeans to produce yield. Also, it's setting a lot of yield in August and September, which is typically some of our driest and hottest weather. So anyway, double crop soybeans, absolutely, they didn't shock me because I knew they were going to be really good, but I just didn't know they were going to be this good. Anyway, we produced 26,681 bushels off of 462 acres for a final average yield of 58 bushels per acre. Only 5 bushels an acre less than what our full season soybeans made. Now, if you look on this graph right here, you can see exactly what we're talking about. You can see what we normally expect the spread in yield between full season soybeans and double crop soybeans. But anyway, all of our farms of double crop soybeans, except for one, were just outstanding. And that one farm that didn't do good, and that one farm that didn't do near as well as the others, the Clanton farm, for whatever reason, it didn't do all that great in wheat, and it didn't do all that good in double crop soybeans. It's another one of those farms that I can't use chicken litter on, so that, I'm sure that accounts for some of it, but I don't necessarily expect it to account for all of it. Now on the price of soybeans, I'm going to get the same average price for my full season and my double crop. We haven't actually delivered our soybeans yet, so I don't know the exact average price. But the price we're going to get for soybeans, because of a mistake I made last year, is not going to be anywhere close to what the current market price is. Best I can figure, we're going to be somewhere in the ballpark of $9.85 per bushel for an average price on our soybean crop, as opposed to, I think current market price is somewhere around $13.50 per bushel. But I've covered this extensively in previous videos. But last year I had a soybean contract. Because of the nature of the contract, it wound up doubling up on me. I didn't have enough soybeans to fill that contract that year, so I rolled it over to this year. And because there was a huge spread between January 2020 soybeans and January 2021 beans, we lost about $2.50 per bushel just by having to roll it forward. So we got 25,000 bushels of beans contracted at $7.98 a bushel. So we were able, luckily because we had such a big crop, we were able to market quite a few bushels at current market prices, you know, somewhere between $12 and $14 per bushel to help bring that average price up. But still, it's a tough pill to swallow. But after this year, that contract is going to be closed out. We're done with it, and we can start marketing beans at hopefully some high prices. But anyway, on our double crop soybeans, like I said, it was by far and away the best year we ever had, 58 bushels an acre. Our previous best year for double crop soybeans was in 2017. We had an average yield of 52 bushels per acre. So a 6 bushel per acre increase over your previous best year in soybeans is really, really big. And then before that, we had another year at 51 bushels an acre in 2013, and then we had 50 bushels an acre in 2018. So just that's a year we might not replicate again. So anyway, folks, there you have it. That's a summary of our 2021 crop. Great year, definitely above average year. I hope we replicate it again next year. We're going to try our best to do it. We're going to try to control all the factors that we can, but I'll discuss this in other videos. There's several other factors in play coming up this year that we normally don't have to deal with or worry about. So 2022 is definitely going to be a challenging year. But hopefully some of the challenges that we had to deal with this year, we won't have to deal with next year with the weather during planting and getting the crop established. So, hope anyway. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. But stay tuned for our next video. It's going to be out in a few days. It's going to be really interesting. I'm going to do a review of some of the bigger decisions I had to make this year. And I'm going to let you know if I was right or if I was wrong. So should be pretty interesting. Got a list of some pretty big decisions, and I didn't make the right decision on all of them, even though I tried to explain my reasoning on camera. But anyway, appreciate y'all watching. Be sure to stay tuned for the next video coming out in a few days. If you like this video, I'm sure you'll like that one. See y'all later.